All right, this is Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com, and today we are doing a shaky cam interior review of a 2015 Nissan Frontier in the Pro 4X package. I'm not sure there's any other way to buy a Frontier, but I'll talk about that in a different video probably. For now, we're doing a interior review. If you've been watching this channel, then you've probably seen a couple of these interior reviews for this truck, and if so, well, don't expect to see anything different. This truck has not changed in several years, but that's not a downgrade, because this is just a great design for what the truck is. It does need a few updates, I think, to bring it up to modern times, but they're pretty small. Not like some vehicles where they're out of date within a couple of years, like your phone. This one is relatively timeless, and that's because of the market that it's for. So let's just get right to it. Over here on the door, you have the easy access window and lock controls. Very nice because it's out of the way of the sill, but it's still very easy to just get to right there. Hit your buttons, do your thing. Door handle, of course. Now over here, here's your mirrors. Here's your descent control here, and that turns on the cargo lamp in the bed of the truck. Very cool. On the steering wheel, these are one of my big beefs. I would like to see changed. These are the audio controls and phone. These toggles tend to hit them a lot when I'm turning, smacking, especially this one down here, this little one. This changes the radio station. It's highly annoying, because I'll be turning the wheel and I'll do this thing, or I'll grab it like this or grab it like this, and I'll hit that and I'll change the station, and then I have to turn my head away from the street and over to the radio to try to retune it, because this is only on the presets, and I never change the presets in these vehicles. Over here we have cruise control. Pretty straightforward, nothing special. Right here we have your light dongle, is what I like to call it. Controls the lighting of the vehicle. I like this because it's nice and substantial. I tend to be very hands-on. I tend to grab things and shove them around, and this is nice and substantial. Doesn't feel cheap or flimsy. Same thing over here. Windshield wiper washer, etc. Pretty straightforward. You set the timing here, you run it. Looking at the instrument cluster, you can see we have engine heat over here, RPMs right here, oil right here. Here's your drive control, so it shows you 4-wheel drive, 4-low, or 2-wheel drive like we are now. It's rear wheel normally. Over here you have your speedometer with a, I would say, pretty optimistic 140 top. This V6 is probably capable of that. It might go 140 miles an hour, but I would not bet on it. I would say you're probably more in the 110 to 120 range with this, because it is a real pickup truck. It sits high off the ground, has big tires, all that good stuff. Over here you have your battery and your fuel, and then you can see the trip there, and you can see how many miles I put on it this week. I would say out of the 165.7 miles I put on this vehicle, 140 of those, at least, were in the dirt. I took a grand tour of the eastern Wyoming, western Nebraska area on dirt roads, and got mud all over it. Hopefully you can maybe see some of that when you look at the hood there. You see how beat up that is. And yeah, so back to it. Here is your infotainment screen. Rockford Fosgate. This is the upgraded audio package. Well worth the money. Such a great stereo system. I've had it blasting Serious Liquid Metal and Ozzy's Boneyard 38 a few times. Most of the time I've been in it, and just tons of fun. So pretty straightforward use. You don't have a whole lot of complicated stuff you can do here. That also means that it doesn't do a lot of stuff, but it does all the bare essentials in this upgraded package. It does the bare essentials that you probably all everything you need. Just don't try to get too fancy with your app integration and whatever the hell else, and you'll be just fine. Down here we have the climate controls, and thank you, Nissan, they are not tied to that. So you can do everything right here without having to go through that for anything. For those of us that like to just quickly go, turn it up, damn it, you can just, you know, there's no screwing around with anything, no button pushing, any of that stuff. Kudos to Nissan for that. This is dual climate control. I've turned it off because I don't want the air blowing on the microphone here, but it is dual climate control. Again, the upgraded package here. Down here you have your four-wheel drive controls. Over here you have traction. You have your parking radar on and off. You can lock the rear differential, and then you have seat heating. So over here you have your 12-volt outlets. It's actually a good placement. Then you have the upper glove box, proper European glove box, and the lower glove box for the Americans. And then hard plastics, but not cheap plastic. It's a good quality plastic, and it actually does a decent job of sound deadening, which tells me there's a lot behind it to keep the sound from coming through. You do hear the engine when you're working it, so if you're off-road or you're plowing through the mud or whatever, you will get engine feedback, which is good. Those of you who do off-road, which if you're buying a Pro 4X, you do, you'll like to hear that, the fact that that goes on. And so there you have a drink holder. You can see the floor mats and stuff. There are optional rubber for this. This doesn't have it, but you can get it. Over here you have your hard surface that does not hold your phone. That's a caveat. Do not put your phone in here. It will fly out. Here is your shifter. Pretty straightforward, and manual gearing is just pulling it down and gearing it. So you have 3, 2, and 1 here. Whoops, 3, 2, and 1 here. So you just pull it down, move it over. There you go. This is where I've been putting my phone because it stands upright right here, and it wobbles a little bit, but it doesn't fly around. Over here you have your drink holders. There's another insert like this to go here. I took it out so that I can put my Manly Big Gulp in there. These are rubber here. So, and then you have your handbrake. If you do a fair amount of off-roading, then you know why it's good to have a handbrake. This has the leatherette package, so it is a nice perforated seating, very comfortable. I like this seating a lot. And then you have your center console and some garbage that I threw in there, sorry. But there's your USB, there's your aux port, there's another 12-volt there. And coin holders. I don't know how long the coins would stay in there, but you have them. Back in the back. This is the quad cab, but the back seats are small. You can get an adult back there if the person up front is willing to move forward. You do have some knee room if you want. I haven't had anybody in this car really. I mean, I had a couple of friends that rode around with me for a while, but I did not put the car seats in it this year. I did that last year. And then you have your armrest here. And the bed of the truck. This has the tie-down rails and all the other goodies back there, which is great because that's where we hung our muddy boots to drive home. Otherwise, that's about it. Like I said, it has not changed in a long time. It's a solid little truck and a great off-road performer. Had a really good time this week in this truck. Enjoyed it a lot. So that's about it for Aaron on autos.com. This has been Aaron. Talk to you again soon.